What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Well, in today's video, we're going over Luna Classic as its price is starting to make a move very similar to ones that we've seen historically, and that could entail that there is possible danger amongst us. So with that said, let's not waste any more time at all, and let's get straight into today's video. Now, of course, do remember, stick around towards the middle to the end of the video, as I will be telling you exactly how you can get $115 completely for free. So again, you're not going to want to miss that. But let's talk about what's going on with Luna Classic. Well, there's a couple things that I've picked up on with Luna. Now, mind you, this is not going to follow Elliot's wave theory perfectly. There are a few flaws, but I'm not necessarily using our numbers and letters here for that. More of just to say what the pattern and the specifics are. So what I've noticed about Luna Classic and most cryptos of a similar size is that they run in waves of 5. Right? Well, of course, usually 5 strong waves to the upside, followed by 3 corrective waves, etc. Now, Elliot's wave theory is a very similar setup, of course, but there are certain things that have to be applicable for it to be perfect Elliot's wave theory, such as measurements, such as certain levels that cannot be crossed. I'm not doing all of that, applying that to Luna Classic because I don't believe it's necessary right now. I just want to go over the general ideology of what I'm noticing. So what we see is, again, we will usually see this 5 wave to the top with a 3 wave to the bottom. And then after that, we will have to figure out what comes next. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you have your 3 waves down. You will usually see a bounce, and then we figure out what happens next. Well, what I'm starting to notice is that this is starting to look eerily similar to what we saw back here and from another crypto that is of a similar size to Luna Classic that I'll show you in a second. So what we're going to do is we're going to scale down, and we're going to see what happened on the hourlies. Let's go all the way back here, okay? All the way back to what happened on this very first pump after the initial pump, right? Let's go here, and we can see how this played out. So what we saw from Luna Classic is, let's just zoom in, there we go. So we saw that it started off with 1 strong wave to the top. Now, this was even its own little 5 wave. It's crazy, right? So we saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the top, and then a 1, 2, 3 to the bottom before eventually continuing. Now, it did end up going into, its own little pattern here, but the craziest part is, even after we put in a pattern, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the top, and then we had this little 3 to the bottom, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the top, and then a little 3 to the bottom, 3 to the bottom there, right? So you can see that this is a beautiful pattern, and it just completely tends to follow it like crazy. So, but from the macro sense, we can see this. Look, we had our 1 wave, our 2 wave, our 3 wave, our 4 wave, and then our 5 wave here, okay? And this is where we put in that all-time high at that point, okay? Or our new local high, right? Now, after that happened, we came back down and started retracing quite substantially to the downside. I mean, from top to bottom, this was a nice little fall of nearly about 40%. You can see we came in, we put in the descending wedge on this 3 wave to the bottom, we broke out of it, we came back up, set the new local high, and then went sideways from there, which eventually led us to an almost, very steep decline, which looked like going from bottom to top over, let's say, 50-ish% roughly. Now, let's compare that. Let's compare that to what we're seeing now, because there are a lot of similarities. So, of course, as I did mention before, we saw our 5 wave to the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, followed by the 3 wave to the bottom, which entered into the descending triangle. We saw the breakout, and we entered into a new uptrend, and then we set the new higher high. And now we're pulling back. So the question becomes, do we make a similar move to what we saw back here, in which now we start coming back down and start trending sideways and sideways and sideways, or even steadily downward, eventually going into, maybe the low teens levels, or do we set in the local low and continue back upwards? This is the danger that I'm worried about, because we've seen this play out from another crypto of a very similar size, of a very similar element within crypto. And what that is was Shiba Inu. Let's look back at Shiba Inu. Now, this was pointed out to me by a fellow, someone in my comment sections. And so what he said was, hey, look at how, we got this descending wedge. We immediately broke out of it. We set the higher high. We came back down, went sideways, and then capitulated to set in the new lower low. And then we ended up going sideways for, ever at this point. Do I think this is going to happen? No, not necessarily, as long as certain adjustments are made within the community and we continue to see things developing. But the fact that we've seen this exact thing play out before says that this is something we need to be very mindful of and watch to see how it plays out specifically. So with that said, now that we've seen that something of this nature has happened for Luna Classic prior and on another crypto of a similar size, what do we need to be paying attention to, and how can we go about this from this point forward? Okay, so what I'm going to say is, at this point, I think we're good. Okay, at this point, I think we're good. And the reason being is that we have a lot of support in between where we are now around this little 30 level all the way down to about 22. Okay, in here, there is a lot of support. And for that reason, there's a strong likelihood of us being able to set in this low, right? And then getting that move to the top side. Now, what are some of those levels of support? Well, obviously, if we just look a little closely, what we can see is always we have our macro Fibonacci support. So we go swing low to swing high, and we can see that we have this 618 to 786 box currently sitting. Let's get a little box out. Currently sitting between 25 and 22 cents. Now, again, I know it's not 22 cents or 25 cents, but I don't feel like saying 0.0025. Okay, so we have this zone of support. That is always going to be one that is important, and that is always one that will usually give us some type of bounce. Now, not only that, though, if we zoom in on the 4-hour charts, we did have a bit of an ascending wedge that we broke out of here, which looked like this, and it looked like this. Now, as you can see, it does look like we've broken out of this, to be honest, especially if you do kind of adjust it to our wicks like that and then like that. It does look like we've broken to the downside, but the beautiful part about ascending wedges is that all of these times we touch the bottom, these are going to serve as support levels. And as you can see, we touch the bottom, touch the bottom, touch the bottom, touch the bottom. That means that this entire little level right here, right, all of these touches right here are all going to serve as support levels or levels in which people will be willing to buy, bullish liquidity zones. So considering the fact that we have so much structural support from this ascending wedge, we have the macro Fibonacci level entering directly below that. It feels like between here and 22 cents that we have a lot of capability to see some type of bounce to the upside. And as long as we do that, I do believe we're in the clear. But if at any given point we do start to capitulate down through all of these levels past 21, I would be aware of the fact that we could be entering into a similar chart pattern as Shiba Inu or what we've seen historically, in which this thing does trend downward quite substantially over the next couple weeks or possibly even months. Now remember, if there's a lot of great news that comes out or there's some type of news about, from Binance or something, that could alter the trajectory of this. But whenever it comes to the technical side of things, this is a massive, massive risk that we need to be aware of. Now, what does that mean and how does that transfer over to my current beliefs? Well, I'm still not doing anything, right? You guys know on the hourly, at least, we are in some type of descending wedge here. And for that reason, I never really trade in these things. Obviously, you can see we're in a downtrend right here. So what I would be looking for first and foremost is we're looking for the breakout of this. And we realistically need to get back above this most recent high, this like 34 level, before I'm too excited that this thing is going up at any given point. Whenever we have these descending wedges, what I look for is the break of the wedge, then the clearing of the most recent high. Then that puts us in a much better position to see some growth, and we're just not there yet. So do stay tuned for that. But in terms of actually trading Luna Classic, I'm still waiting for the breakout of this wedge that we've been in for a couple of days now. Now, do remember, whenever I do my trading, I will be doing it all over on BitGet. They are running a zero fee campaign on spot. So if you're buying some Luna Classic, stop paying fees while you can. Come do it over on BitGet with the link down below. And whenever you sign up, you're going to get $15 as a USDT futures trading bonus completely for free, and then 10% back on whatever deposit you make up into $1,000. What that means, you deposit $800, you get $80 back. You deposit $999, you're going to get $99.99 back, okay? This is the best sign up and deposit bonus on the internet right now. When you combine that with the fact that they are doing zero fees on spot trading, I do believe this is the best exchange out. So go use the link down in the description and get to trading over on BitGet, and of course let me know what you think. So with that said, guys, that is going to be about it for today's video. Of course, I hope you guys do enjoy. If you did, you can always let me know easily and simply by smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel down below. Again, make sure you do go get that free $15 for signing up with BitGet, and then get your 10% back on your deposit up into $1,000. It really does not get better than that. But with that said, I will see you all very soon, and peace.